everybody. We're having so much fun here at the studio. Glad you could join us. We've had quite a show. We just finished, of course, with our Elvis Presley character, and I hope you'll go to his show. But Bev Pester and Jerry Mann, called the Mixed Company Duo. And if you come to the Boomer Expo, you will. If you came for the last couple, you'll have met them. They make the music, everything sings when they're there. So we welcome to our show here. It's your show, but it's okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's always such a pleasure. And, I think when you've been on before, we've kind of talked about you both as a mixed group. But I know individually you've had quite a life yourself. And I thought maybe we would just kind of focus in on who are you, Bev? And when did you start with your music career? I mean, were you just 3 years old in your crib? Or?
I wrote symphony at the age of 7.
Another Mozart in our presence. When did you know that you really wanted to be a musician?
Well, my father was a musician. He played the clarinet and the harmonica and some other instruments, the flute. So it was important for him when I was the first of 4 children. When I was in first grade, he said, "Oh, you have to play an instrument." He said, "What would you like to play?" And I said, I didn't know anything. I said, "The drums." And he said, "No, not the drums." So he bought me this big old guitar. It was bigger than I was, and I started on that. And and then later, after I was a little bit older, I started playing the flute, and I just was very lucky. I did well with it. I won a lot of awards and went to the state festivals, and eventually got a scholarship, a full scholarship in music. And typically, of a lot of people, when they're 18 years old, you really don't know what direction you want to go in. But that kind of made up my mind for me. And from then, it just seems like more and more doors open, and like any experience. And when you get involved with it, you just find out there's so much more. And that started me off on the course of my life.
And did you, by being a musician and being in orchestras, it made you appreciate the arts, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. I've played in operas and symphonies, and I've played in country bands, and I played bluegrass. Every part of the, every side of the spectrum. And now what Jerry and I do, we do everything also. Mostly 50s, 60s, but we get into the island music. Or we get into the, little bit of the modern stuff, and it's just fun.
A little bit of Elvis Presley?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, well, now we're going to ask you the same thing, Jerry. So, you're an attractive-looking guy, and I'm sure that you could have had a lot of things, and you also are a singer. So let's talk about you. And did you start singing in the bathtub? Or bath shower, I guess.
I could have, but I actually didn't start singing until I was 57 years old. That's when I started.
What were you doing before that?
I worked for a ladies' apparel company called London Fog.
Oh, I remember those beautiful raincoats, if you want to call them raincoats. But so you never really thought about music when you were younger?
Not as a profession, no. And when I came down here, my wife sort of talked me into making a demo record, which I did, and cost me about $1,000, which I couldn't believe because I had no idea what this is all about. So I made a demo record, got an agent by the name of Bobby Breen. You remember Bobby Breen?
Yes, I do.
Yep, Bobby Breen was my agent, and he got me some real good jobs. I did some openings for some great entertainers at one time. I did about 3 or 4, and I thought, well, $225 for 20 minutes, this is a pretty good deal.
And do you enjoy when you're singing? Are you somewhere else?
I really get into my music. I really feel my music. I love to sing everything, actually. I'm not a country singer, but I sing country songs. I'm not a rock and roll singer, but I do rock and roll. Like Beverly said, we can cover everything when it comes to we take requests. Bev knows everything. She's a little bit younger than I am, I think by a year. But
We're not good, but you actually are so attractive, and I can put you in a tuxedo, and you probably don't even have to sing. You just stand there.
Well,
the women must love you.
Oh, they do.
But now the fact you sing too, and the fact that you're part of this duo. I would think this has changed your life. I mean, I understand selling London Fogs, and I was in sales too, but this is an art.
You're 100% right. It has changed my life. It's really made a big difference. Bev and I have been together now going on 17 years as a partnership. Mm-hmm. We've never had an argument. I've got a little upset with her at times, but I didn't really let her know it that much. But because I'm a little bit older, because I was just kidding on the other thing. But it has changed my life, and it really has. It's made a big difference.
Don't you feel that you, and both of you can respond to this, that because it's music, you have to learn a lot. I mean, it's education. This is getting your mind. Your mind has to be able to play the music, sing the music, organize where you're going, what you're doing. Don't you think that's going to keep you younger and your brain stimulated?
There's so much going on that people don't even realize, especially as part of being a professional, is that you can make it look easy. And just like what you said, you're adjusting this all the time, and you've got the music going on, your memory, your reading, you're doing everything, and with a smile, and at the same time communicating with your people, listening and going back and forth. I was so lucky. I got to work with so many great people. Mark Aslina, do you remember Mark with the Boca Pops?
Oh, yes.
For many years.
Yeah, it was a shame when we lost that.
It really was. Donald Portnoy. I got to a week with Aaron Copland when I was in college, and
wow,
and that was eye-opening. And so many people that you come across in your lifetime, and the old saying is you have two ears and one tongue, so you just keep your mouth shut and listen and learn.
I never heard that. I never knew what that meant. But when I watch both of you playing up there, you are really like kind of, pardon the expression, out of it in a sense. You're into it so much, you're out of it. You're enjoying yourself. You're just making people happy and smiling, and the music is beautiful. So there's something to that, and you must feel very good at the end of the day when you finish, Jerry. I have watched you, and I think, and you're very alert to everything that's going on, and people love the music that you're singing.
Well, the one thing that I always stressed with Beverly was we play for the people. We don't play for ourselves. We don't have a set act. Our music is changing constantly. We make sure it's everybody wants a request, they have a memory, when they got married, maybe when they got divorced, who knows, but they have a memory, and they want to listen to that song, and we know them, and we know them all, and it makes me really feel good when we see they're out there dancing and having fun.
Oh, it's great. It's a vicarious experience to see the people dancing.
Well, I have seen that. You have that little space in front, and people just love it. I guess Bev Pester and Jerry Mann, who have a little organization called Mixed Company Duo. And if you come to the Boomer Expo on Friday, July the 25th, over there at Hard Rock, Seminole Hard Rock, you will be able to see them. They start probably about, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
When we get going. And then, of course, the best thing for us is when we have the Veterans Salute at 11 o'clock, and you play the music for each one of the various services. I mean, I get tears in my eyes every time you do that.
It's amazing. You have the veterans from every Army, Navy, Air Force, the Coast Guard, the Marines, and they're all proud. And
we're proud to do this. We are so proud to do this.
And you have the color guard present the colors, and then we do. It's such a patriotic time, and it brings a tear to my eye when I think
all of us. And when you think about the heroes, and so we have been very fortunate because we've had a lot of expos, and I think it was a couple of years ago where, because of a couple of circumstances, we figured we had to do something different, and it was so obvious the veterans, whom I dearly love so much and appreciate and respect, we're not being given anything special. Oh, they did something on July 4th, they do something on this day. But no one has ever done anything where they all come together in a big, great festival. And so we're so proud, and you've been a very strong part of this.
Well, thank you. It is a wonderful experience for us, and we are honored to be part of this. We really are.
Sure are.
Well, the honor is ours. But let's just go into let's go back to some of your music. So, are you telling me though that you don't know ahead of time what you're really going to do? I mean, how do you decide? You look at each other and you nod?
We really don't, and we play off of each other. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll say, Bev, why don't you play this? And she's already got it ready to go. I haven't even said anything. It's really amazing. But
it depends on how the people are responding to. Some people responding to something, then we know to follow in that direction. And so we almost always never have a set list that we're going to play. Mm-mm. We just kind of walk up and start playing, and what works, or if it's not working, we go in a different direction and find out what people are really going to what makes them happy.
But you play more than the flute.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So here you're a flautist, and how did all that? I guess once you're playing a wind instrument, you can learn more.
Well, I have a degree in music, so I've studied every instrument. But when I was when I moved to Florida, I got involved in the master's program at FAU in theory and jazz. And I met a lot of people who I formed a 5-piece band with. And I found out, well, flute doesn't go very far when you're playing country or classical rock or whatever. So I learned the bass, and then I told you I had a guitar experience. So I brushed up on that. And then I have this great instrument called a Yamaha WX5. My husband calls it the Tudor. And it's an electronic wind synthesizer. So I can play that as a clarinet or saxophone, and I also teach flute, saxophone, clarinet, and of course keyboard. I want
to talk about the keyboard.
Okay.
So now, before the keyboards, I mean, what did people, when they came to entertain, they either had a piano or they had an accordion, and that was it, right?
Or 17-piece band,
right? Oh yeah, right. But I mean, the keyboard has made such a difference. I've been to places where one person is on that keyboard playing all different music, all different kinds of things, even with, and now with the karaoke.
Yes.
They don't even really, I mean, they may not have a great voice, but it certainly sounds okay.
Right. Well, if they get proper reverb, I suppose, that helps them a lot. The keyboard, the synthesizers are remarkable. You can set them, there were 6, I don't want to get into the technical part of it, but you have several tracks with each instrument on a different track with 16 tracks or more. And so what I do is if I'll make what's called a sequence, and then I'll mute the particular track that I'm going to play live. For example, if we're playing an island song, I'll have the basic rhythm going on with the bass, and maybe guitar strumming, and I'll add a steel drum part to it live and play the steel drums on the keyboard, because it has all these various hundreds and hundreds of sounds that you can add: strings, piano, organ, whatever.
It sounds, though, that it's not just someone's going to sit down and learn to do this. You have to really be instructed. This is a very complicated thing to make the music to come out like that.
Yes,
but it is amazing, isn't it, how things have changed with the music. Now, sometimes you don't even know if the person's really singing.
Well, right, the Milli Vanilli, right. Well, we've been accused of that. Jerry has. He has such a beautiful, gorgeous voice. And people will say, "Oh, he's not really singing."
Oh, really?
I said, yes, he is. So, I said, Jerry, now the next song, when you get to the verse, just drop out, because he doesn't think you're doing this live. So he'll drop out for a line or two, and then they realize, no, he really is doing this.
So now that's funny. So now you're being accused almost of it's too good, right? There's no way.
Well, she's being very kind. I don't have a great voice.
He has a great voice. Very sincere delivery. That's what I love about
a very
his voice.
Decent voice.
Well,
God,
I've listened
God
to
let me sing in tune.
I've gotten the CDs you've given me. Yes, they're good. But I thought that was really you, so it's not, huh?
You're right. Oh.
But now, you, of course, you have to learn all these new songs. Let's talk about that. Maybe I'm just an old fogey. I never thought I was, but I don't like a lot of these songs. I don't understand the words. I don't understand what they're saying. I'm a Frank Sinatra person. What can I tell you? Barbara Streisand. I could even bump it up a little bit. But, I mean, even Michael Jackson, some of the things that happened were pretty hot, and I could hear it. Mm-hmm. But I just really like to hear words.
Well, I do, too. And words mean a lot to me. When I was young, and the melody was always the most important thing, and I never paid any attention to the lyrics. But now I really do, and they're quite meaningful. My favorite composer was Cole Porter, because he wrote beautiful poems that became music, the best ever.
Well, let's just talk about people like Andrew Lloyd Webber, people like that who
sure.
really are magnificent. And the songs, I mean, look at the songs from my favorite, The Phantom of the Opera. I mean, it's such...
the show tunes.
We just sit there, and Bill and I have the DVD from that, and we could just sit there all night. We watch the movie, we listen to the words. I mean, it's pure gold.
That's my favorite music, by
Oh,
the
that's
way.
my favorite music. See, I knew there was something there.
Yeah, Broadway's my favorite music, and so many wonderful songwriters, Richard Rodgers and Hart.
Have you ever tried your hand at writing, Jerry?
No.
You haven't done that, so it's strictly singing.
No.
How about you, Bev?
I've written a little bit. I've always wanted to do it, but I've always been too busy throughout my life. A couple kids, and a husband, a family. We had a restaurant, Hungry Jack's, right up here on Palmetto Park Road.
I didn't know that was yours.
That was our restaurant.
Now?
It's not there anymore.
Yeah, but right.
And also, then I worked for the post office for 25 years also.
My goodness.
I've always been juggling 5 or 6 things. And so writing music was always in the back of my mind. I do have a couple songs that I have written. But, we hardly ever play them. We cover all the songs.
Sure.
People, occasionally somebody will want to hear something original, but not too often.
I've been a judge at the Senior Idol.
And so great.
have you?
Yeah, I've been there for many years. I've been doing that, and it's ironic though because we go through about over 100 people that come to do this, and of course the song that the men all choose was always something from Frank Sinatra.
Yes,
I mean, and it's true. It's something about his music. We put it on now. The romance. I mean, Bill and I've been married for 40 years, and it just turns that romance on again. But he had a certain timing, didn't he? What Jerry, would you say was his?
Style. He was. He didn't have what you called a great voice, but he had a tremendous style, and his voice was really good, but it wasn't great. But he had a wonderful style, a wonderful delivery, and like you said, Anita, you could understand every word.
That's true.
Every word.
And he had a sincerity to his delivery.
Yes,
also,
he did.
Like you do.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, but the other thing, of course, as he got a little bit famous, he had fantastic orchestras.
Yes.
Nelson Riddle.
That made the difference,
the
didn't it? The arrangements.
Oh, yeah.
That is so important. You really hit the nail on the head. This is difference a lot of between a good performance and a great performance is often the background, and people don't even realize it, but the arrangement is so important.
And now we have the television shows, the American Idol, and I mean, people coming up with voices. I saw, I don't know where, it was on one of the shows, the kid was like 6 years old, opened her mouth, and what a voice. And you said, where's that coming from?
I know. Look at that Jackie Evancho from Pittsburgh. What was she, 10 when she performed on America's Got Talent?
Right.
Wow. I mean, that just blew me away.
So I think,
believe it.
that's what happened now because of the communication that we live in, that we can hear people from all over the world where we didn't really, it wasn't made available to us. It's the same thing with pianists now and the violinists, and they're at early ages, they're performing amazingly.
Well, they have the tools, too. They have the internet tools and YouTube. I mean, things that they have access to that we never had when we were young. For example, if you're learning a Mozart flute concerto, so maybe you hear a record, but now you just get your internet, you get your computer out, pop up the YouTube, and you hear it performed by the best flutists in the world. So can you imagine if we had those kind of things when we were young?
Well, I had to tell everybody listening that yes, you're not seeing Bev Pester and Jerry Mann yet, but they will be getting on YouTube. We're going to be putting this interview on YouTube with them, so you'll be able to see what they look like. So I think that's pretty important. Well, we want to talk a little bit about the Boomer Expo because I know that you've been a part of it. Tell me why we people should come.
Oh, so many reasons. First of all, it's very interesting. There's so many booths with all these exhibitors with things of interest for all of us, especially the seniors, and is the Senior Expo. And there are many, many prizes to win. You can win a cruise, you can win a television, and hundreds and hundreds, and veterans, special prizes for veterans, cash prizes. So, and it's fun. There are a lot of people walking around, listening. You have the music going on, and it's just an exciting day. And you're at the casino. So if you want to pop out and play a little blackjack or put a little money in a slot machine or have a lunch, wonderful restaurants right there, you can make a day of it and have a really nice day. And honor the veterans on top of it. So, phew.
Yeah, that's right. How can you beat it? So, Jerry, you and I don't think I've asked you that. Are you a veteran?
No, I was in the Coast Guard Reserve for a short time.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something.
That was way back when.
No, well, that wasn't back that long ago. I mean, World War II. We still have veterans from World War II, and they do come. You see some of them come with their medals, their jackets, or their hat, and they're still so proud, and it's
We
really
have
important.
a Pearl War veteran over at our American Legion here in Deerfield, Post 162. He's about 92, I think, now. But he was there when those bombs were dropped.
Well, we have a lot of veterans, too, in Boca at the American Legion at 277, including Phil, who was World War II. My dad was also World War II veteran, as Bill was. He was a Marine in the South Pacific. I have two brothers. One was a career Air Force. Another one was a Navy man, a submariner. And my husband was in the Air Force in Vietnam. So I come from a family of military background.
And my dad was a chief petty officer in World War II, stationed at Guantanamo. That's where he was stationed. Yeah,
in Cuba.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bill, I haven't mentioned this, but Bill was given some very special medals from the French consulate. They chose certain people. They've been doing this all over the country, and somebody recommended him. And when the people from the consulate giving the awards out said to Bill, "Well, but you flew airplanes. You never did anything in France on the soil." And so Bill, he got a little annoyed, and he said, "Wait a minute. The reason you have the soil is because we were flying the planes to keep you safe." So they changed their mind. And at FIU, there were eight veterans from World War II. And Bill was one, so he has these beautiful little medals. Now, this is the point. So the French consulate gave a wonderful speech, but you know who else was on the program, which I stood up in my brain? The German consulate was there. And now you have to understand, this was very interesting. And I said, how's this going to go? Because the thing was filled with the veterans and their families and all. And he was younger, and he spoke about what a terrible war it was and what a terrible thing Germany did. And he was so apologetic, and he was so proud that these veterans were there. I mean, it just turned around. Everybody stood up and clapped.
Wow.
It was a very unusual thing to have that happen.
I imagine so.
Yeah, it was. But they were really honored to take these veterans. And funny, I'll tell you one more thing. When they were giving the Star Spangled Banner or something like that, one veteran was in a wheelchair. So two veterans next to him picked him up and held him while he was doing this. I mean, I was just, in tears. It was the veterans helping one another still.
Indeed, yes.
So, this is, that's why we have been, Leonie Kendall, of course, who's the EXO manager. We've all been so thrilled that we have been able to have something that's more than just a fun day. It's a dedicated day. It's the veterans know it's their day, and we always give out certificates. We have prizes, and now we're going to have a little special gift that we've just developed to give to every veteran. So, anyway, we thank you both, Bev Pester and Jerry Mann, for being here. And we'll see you. Everybody come and say hello to them. Thanks for being here with us this morning.
Thank you so much, Anita.